Well, in this tutorial, we're going to model what you see on the screen there, which is a Lego block. Um, why? Well, to learn some more fusion modeling techniques, maybe something that we could 3D print and test to see if it fits together and check tolerances. Interestingly enough, Lego spends a lot of time precisely making their blocks so that they stick together pretty easily but don't just fall apart. They actually use the elasticity of the plastic and what's called an interference fit, where one piece is slightly smaller than the other. And then when you stick them together, the plastic stretches a little bit. And then when you pull them apart with just the right amount of force, they can still come apart. They should easily come apart by a small child. So if they're too sticky, we'd have no fun. If they're too loose, we'd have no fun. So Lego blocks are kind of amazing that they can all be manufactured to such perfect tolerances. Okay, so here's our Lego block, and how did I begin this? Well, I just went to, I don't know if this is a precisely sized Lego block because all I did was head to the internet and Google up uh, Lego blocks, like this, as you see on the screen. And for some reason, I settled on, oh, where was it again? Well, one of these sizes here, I don't know where it is, but I grabbed the image and I actually did something interesting that we haven't done before is I brought it in, and I'll turn on a canvas now and turn off my block. Oh, turn off my body there. And I brought it in to the drawing environment, which I can do by inserting a canvas, which is like a picture that you attach to a surface or a plane. So I attach this to a work plane, and there it is, and it comes under canvases, and I can use it as a reference. So all the sizes were on here that I could draw from, and I would only be able to verify these if I had an actual Lego block that I could measure, and I think there are some differences. But this is what I'm going to model right here, and if you want to actually model a Lego block, well, you could try and find the actual dimensions for a Lego block, which I'm sure are out there, and then you could carefully do it that way, but all the same techniques will apply. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to turn that canvas off for a second because I have this page sitting on the desk in front of me and I can work from it, and turn that off. Oh, no, that's not canvas. There we go. And back to the block for a second. And this is what we're aiming to do. It's just like the page. Okay, so I'm going to start a new file, new design, and we are going to name it something and save it somewhere. So right now I'm in drafting 10 as my save location. I need to change that and head to, Maker 8, I guess. There we go. And we are in Maker 8 now, and I'm going to call this Lego block tutorial. So again, I like saving right out of the gate. There we go, and we'll hit save. So it changes up here like we did in our last video. It changes here, and we're saving our project. Now, where do we begin? There's lots of different ways to begin and start modeling. I'll just do the way I think we should begin, and we'll see what we can make of that. I'm just changing my screen brightness there. There we go. Okay. I'm going to start by showing you something you haven't seen before. I'm going to right click on this top level of our browser tree, and I'm going to create a new component. And a new component can have a name. You can name it later. I'm just going to push OK for now, and you'll see it comes in over here as component 1. If I right click on this, I can change its name. If I slow click twice, I can change its name. I'm going to call this block 1. There we go. Now, components are used when you have more than one piece. I'm going to show you how we can connect two Lego blocks together, and that'll add another dimension of modeling. So I'm creating my first component here. This is just block 1, and make sure that when you're drawing, you activate by clicking the little button on the end. In the first tutorial we did the key fob, this was our activate button. And all of our sketches and our bodies that we created, if I go back to this, all of our sketches to make this, and I made 3 sketches to make this, and our bodies, which is the actual physical 3D extrusion, turning it on and off, you can see that, they all ended up underneath Lego block as our sort of organizer. In this one, they are all going to end up under the activated component, so block 1. So let's start drawing our first, shape, I guess. So I'm going to click Start a Sketch. I'm going to go top level, top down, right there, just like we did for key fob. I'm going to create a rectangle just like we did for key fob. I'm going to click on the origin and draw it out. Now I'm going to go to my drawing that's in front of me and figure out the sizes. So my drawing says that the vertical size of this should be 15.8. And I'm in inches right now, so that's crazy, 15.8 inches. So I'm going to hit escape, and I'm going to head over to my document settings and expand it. And the units here, I'm going to click this little clipboardy thing or piece of paper at the end for editing, and I'm going to change that to millimeters. Push OK. Now I'm going to head back to my create a rectangle, like that, and I'm going to draw this out. So now I can punch in, what was it, 15.8 this way, tab, and this one on my drawing says 31.8 this way. Okay, I've created that first bit. Now let's extrude that just like we did the key fob, and we are going to extrude that to a distance of, according to my drawing again, 9.6 millimeters. There we go. Now there's bumps on top of the Lego block, so I'm going to create another sketch. I'm going to do it on this surface, and I am going to just create a circle anywhere, like just there. And the circle, it says, for these bumps is a diameter of 4.8. There we go. So just like the key fob. Now the circle's specially placed. It's accurately placed. So what I'm going to do is create a dimension by pushing D on the keyboard, just like we did with the key fob. And I'm going to pick the edge of the circle and this edge right here. And I'm going to draw it out here. And that distance should be 3.9. And then I'm going to go from the edge of the circle to this edge. And from center of circle to that edge should be 3.9. There we go. So 3.9 is what I want. If I wanted to suddenly edit that, you know, you could always go into it, double clicking, change it, and it will change. So this should be, I'm just double checking all my measurements. This should be 4.8, 3.9, 3.9. That's supposed to work. Now on my block, if I go back to it for a second, I need 8 of these circles. So let's do something else. Let's invoke another command here. We are going to go to create a rectangular pattern. And the rectangular pattern can be made in, well, 2 directions here. So the first direction I'm going to make is I'm going to make, there we go, 4 circles, and the distance between each one of these circles is 8 millimeters. So I'm going to have an 8 millimeter distance, an 8 millimeter distance, and an 8 millimeter distance for a total span of 24. And then they're divided evenly between them. So I'm going to head back here and make I've lost my command, so I'm going to go rectangular pattern, boom, of this thing, and then I'm going to pull this out. And you can see what it's doing. It's only making 3 because this 3 should be a 4, and this distance should be, I'm heading in a negative direction, so I'm just going to go 24. Enter. Okay, that was good, but I need another row. I could do that again, or I could head back to where I was. I'm going to hit Control Z. I'm going to do this a second time to show you that we could go in the other direction. So I Control Z, I'm back to my start. I'm going to set up my rectangular pattern for this again. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to tell it 4 in that direction, and I'm going to go negative 24 in this direction. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to pull this arrow down this way, and I'm going to do the same thing, but this time it's 2, and the distance between them in the vertical direction is still 8. Well, not still, but the same distance as they are horizontally. So 8. There we go. So we'll push OK. So I've used a pattern based off this first one. All the rest were generated well, and also the parameters I put in for the distance and the spacing. So that's great. So now what should I do? I'm going to go and pick them all by holding Shift and multiple picking. You have to hold Shift to pick multiple things. And I'm clicking away here and picking them all. And then I'm going to hit E for extrude. The other way to do that would be just to pick E on the keyboard, and then you can just pick. You don't have to hold Shift anymore. It's just counting the number of items. You can see them adding up over here. There we go. Boom. And we can hit extrude. We already hit extrude. So you see this arrow I'm orbiting. Pull that up. The question is, how high are they off that surface? And according to my diagram that I'm reading, they are 1.8 millimeters. 1.8. There we go. It should give you a preview that you can see. Hit enter. And so we've got our block. Now the block, you know, is hollow. So we're going to do something a little different. We haven't done this yet. We're going to hollow this out with a simple method. All you head up to modify, and there's something called shelling right here. Shelling, if I pick a surface that's solid like that, allows me to create a shell of a certain thickness. So on my diagram, it says this thickness is 1.2 millimeters. Enter. So now I have a hollowed out block. The only thing I'm missing is this little portion. I don't know, go ahead back to my final drawing. It showed that it had this in between. And so that would fit in between the studs, I guess, there. I don't know. So for a little stiffness. I think that's a little bit off of a standard Lego block, but anyway, let's go for it. We're going to create a drawing on this surface and extend that little wall down. So create a sketch, pick this surface, and now we're going to draw a line. So hit L on the keyboard, or you can use line up here. L on my keyboard. I'm going to find the center point, which we know how to do. It's got a triangle there of that. I'm going to make it find the center of that. Hit escape. Now I'm going to pick it, and X turns it into a construction line. Oh, let me pick it. Yeah, there it is. See, it's dashed. So that means it's a construction line over here. You can also use this button to do it. And now what we're going to do is that offset thing that we did before in the keychain. So S for toolbox, shortcuts, and OFF for offset. There we go. And so I've hit offset, and I have to pick what I want to offset. And offset it how far? Well, the total thickness is 0.8. So you can go 0.4, because you know how to do 0.8 divided by 2. Or if you didn't, here's a neat feature of Fusion. You can do math here. 0.8 divided by 2. Enter. And it does it for you. It tells you it's 0.4 and it figures it out. So I'm going to go that same command. Here's another interesting thing of Fusion. If you hold your right mouse button down and stroke upwards, it will invoke the last command. So I just did that, and the last command was offset. So that's a quick shortcut to do it again, rather than going to the shortcuts toolbox and all that. So I'll pick this center line, and we'll go this way. And this time I'm just going to put in 0.4. Enter. Oh, that was the wrong way, wasn't it? You saw that. So now I'm going to have to go back and fix this one and make it a negative, because it goes the other way. Enter. There we go. So we got two of them. So now what we're going to do is we're going to extrude this, clicking on it, extruding it, and pulling it down. And the question is how far? The answer, according to the diagram I'm working on, is 6.3. And there you go. We have now modeled this. Let me jump back to this. Let me turn off my body, and let's turn on the canvas. There we go. Boom. So we modeled this block. Well, let me do it like that, and rotate it. There. Modeled this exactly according to what you see. Now I'm just going to jump back to what I was modeling, and you'll see that if I expand block, all of the bodies, which are the 3D extrusions, and there's only one, because every time I created an extrusion, they joined together. That body and all of the sketches I made to do it are all underneath the heading block. Okay, now wouldn't it be fun if we could make two blocks? Well, we'll right click on this, we'll go copy, we'll zoom out, we'll right click in the white space, we'll go paste, somewhere on here I should find a paste. Oh, hang on. Oh, I can't paste on itself. I have to paste top level so I get a separate block. So there we go. I'm up on top level. Now I'll hit right click and paste. And we'll drag, it puts them right on top of each other. So we're going to drag this one off, and we're going to push OK once we see it. There we go. And what you'll find is you get a second block here. This is block 1, 2 copy. Now I can rename this, but I can't really, because the way I pasted it, these two are linked. If I change something on this block, it will automatically change on this block, because I just simply pasted. If I wanted them to be separate, I would have had to select paste new. So let me go top level, there we go. And I can hit paste new somewhere in here. Oh, I don't see it, so I go copy, and I can go right click top level, paste new. When I do that, I get a copy that's no longer related to the first one. So if I change this one will not change. And when I push capture position, okay, capture position always if presented, just do that. That's it. So there's another one. Now this one I can change its name. I can call it something else. I could call this block 2, but it is separate from the original block. So sometimes it's nice to have two things that are linked together. That's a regular pasting. Sometimes it's nice to have one separate entirely from the other, so I can change this one and have it not affect the first one. Okay, so what can we do now? Let's go back and get rid of this block too. I'll leave it for a moment. Notice how when I click on these, I can move them all around in space. Wouldn't it be nice if I could join them together? Like if I do this, it looks like, oh, look, I'm joining them. Let me see if I can get it just right here. But it's really impossible to do because no matter which way you look at it, you can never get them to join. So I'm going to show you how to join things in Fusion. Head up to Assemble, go to Regular Joint here. And whenever presented with this, always capture position. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pick 2 points to join together. So let's pick this point right here underneath. Let's head in. And there's different ways to pick the points. Like I could pick right here, I could pick here, and that's an edge, and this is on the surface. Let's pick the surface, and every time I come to a corner, it seems to want to rotate differently, my little symbol, my picking a joint symbol. What you want to do is while you're on the surface, hold Control on your keyboard, and now you are stuck to this surface, and you won't go off on the edge. So I'm going to click this corner. That's my first position. And then the next position is what that's going to move to. So I'm going to head over here, and I'm going to stay on this surface by holding Control, and I'm going to pick that corner. And boom, those two are now assembled together. Well, that's fun. We'll push OK. Oh, how about this? What if well, that's not going to work. I'll do the next one. We'll push OK to that. Those are locked. So once I push OK, zoom out, those two are now locked together. And this is the symbol for the joint. If I ever wanted to edit it, I can double click that symbol. Actually, no, I can't. I got to right click on it, and I can edit the joint. Or I could find it down in my history here, and I could edit the joint, and I could change it. Or up here, it's created my first joint, and it's listing them here. It's called Rigid 1, and I could right click and edit that. So that's the way we edit joints. Now the last one is, let's just see if we can put this on a little differently. Let's try and pick 2 different spots. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to edit a joint, assemble a joint. Always do that. And we are going to pick maybe this position here, right there. We are going to put it right here. You're like, wait, this is looking the same. And it kind of is. So it's giving me a preview. Oh, I must have done that wrong. So I can unpick this and see if, oh yeah, I got an edge on that one. I don't want the edge. So I have to repick that. Select. Oh, maybe I'll just start again here. Assemble a joint. Capture position. I want it to move to right here. Hold this there. I want it to head back. And I'm going to go and pick this one, but I'm going to hold Control and make sure I stay on this surface. There we go. I'm going to put that there. It's there. But now I can rotate this. I could rotate this a certain number of degrees. And now I've put it together that way. There we go. So now I've got a Lego block stuck in the other direction. We can start building stuff this way. And I actually took some inspiration from, let's see if I can pull it up, another teacher who has an assignment where basically you create 5 different Lego blocks that she provides you the dimensions for. You can get the dimensions online, or you can make your own. And then the finale is to join them in a way that you would in a Lego object. So in this case, she made a dragon. So that's something you could try if you want to. But if you get this far, that's pretty good. So if you don't want to see all these joints on here, you can go and hide them by turning off the eyeball over there, and you've got that. Now let's do one last thing for fun. Let's go modify, appearance. And let's go make these different colors. So in the appearance menu over here, you can scroll up and down and see what they have. I'm going to work in the paint section. I'm going to pick glossy red, and I'm going to drag that over onto this block and make it glossy red. And then I'm going to make these ones glossy yellow. There we go. And remember, they're linked together, so the likelihood is they're going to be the same color. So I am done. I can close that, and look what we've got. Cool. That's it. If you get this far, that's pretty good. It's, I guess, oh, yeah, that's all I want to say for now.